welcome. This is the Real Rocky Podcast. It's the second episode, hopefully of many others. Last week we had in studio for the very first episode of the Real Rocky Podcast, we had a guest who's been a friend for almost 2 decades, Lee Elsey. I think we did a good job. I wanted him to be the first because, Rocky wouldn't exist without Lee Elsey. As a matter of fact, my name is Pietro, and when I used to call his show on an AM station, one day he said, "Come on in, I want to meet you." And when I told him my name, he's kind of like a little bit set back, so I figure, I know it's Petro, I know. It's not easy. People don't know how to spell it. So he said, "How about Rocky?" And of course, he didn't realize that Rocky means rock. Pietro means stone. So it's not like he gave me another name. It's the easier form of English translation of my same name. So fast forward almost 11 years later on the radio, and now on podcast. It is with pleasure. I know I've been saying that, sometimes this happens. I start saying things. I'm going to do this. And it takes time. It's not easy. It's a lot of time, a lot of investment, a lot of efforts, a lot of juggling different things. But here we are, second episode. Next thing you know, it'll be the 19th episode and the 54th episode, and God willing, it'll go on. But I wanted to be able to share clearly and freely why do I even call in the Lee Elsey Show, or I started to call in, or then I got, by God's divine intervention, I got my own show. But what's the focus? As a matter of fact, Lee Elsey, who's very professional at interviewing people, he asked me last week. It was the 13th of March, that Pietro's 7th birthday, when we aired the first episode. And he asked me, "What's the trust of your show?" What is the trust of my show? Is I believe with all my heart that this, United States of America, is the best example of self-ruling of people, free people. But free people without freedom of speech are not free. If you think you're free, but if you can't say, you can't say this, you got to turn this way, you got to stand over here, what is this? It's not freedom. Freedom, I can say whatever I want, short of enticing violence, which is not a Christian trait. Short of that, I can say whatever I want. I can criticize whomever I want. Or freedom of speech also entails me not wishing to speak to somebody. That's my freedom. I don't want to reply. I don't want to engage. If you're a communist, if you're a Marxist, if you're an anarchist, do your thing. I'm not part of it. I don't want to be part of it. It's my freedom, my choice. And if I want to call an elected official incompetent, tyrant, bully, freedom of speech. I'm not enticing. I don't wish him or her any harm. Of course not. But let me tell you something. If our elected official go on a campaign, knocking on doors, say, "Vote for me, I'll do this, I'll do that," and then they get into office and they change completely, I'm not good with that. Absolutely. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrats, or whatever. You must stand firm with what you shared. So when people say, "Yeah, but Rocky, you criticize Republicans," yeah, they're not Republicans. They endorse publicly a Democrat. How are they Republicans? See? But my freedom, and again, I say it on the air dozens and dozens of times, I may even be wrong. You see, my opinion may even be wrong. So, it's still my opinion. Somehow, I believe for decades, the left have been infiltrating, and they want to coerce, they want to make you say and do what they want. Ain't gonna happen with me. So that's why I wanted to start, and later on we'll introduce a guest. But I wanted to start something to share with you. Today is the 19th of March, 2026. 19th is St. Joseph Day. And of course, in Italy, we celebrate St. Joseph as the father of Christ. And so we remember our fathers. And it's important because in my case, folks, if you have a father and you haven't talked to them, or a father that don't talk to the children, please find a way to just call or hug or say hello, even if you haven't spoken for years. Because you see, in some instances like mine, I was 5 years old, my dad was 48. He was a chief of the Carabinieri, which used to be the Royal Guards, but then we lost the king, so they became like a military police. At 48, he died of lung cancer on the 30th of September, 1960. I was 5 years old. To grow up without a father is not a good thing. In my case, my dad died, so he couldn't help it. But believe me, you go through your young years and then develop, and you're always looking up for my friend Ciro's father, my friend Dante's father, Franco's father. There's always a piece missing in your growing up. Thank God I had a mom that took care of everything, and we wanted for nothing, but it's not been easy. So happy St. Joseph Day, and we remember our fathers, because without our father or mother, there is no life. Think about it. If you had an argument and you don't talk to your dad for whatever reason, stop it. Just pick up the phone and say, Dad, I just wanted to say hi. You don't have to be buddy, chummy, but if you have that opportunity, because the day is gone, it's gone. Luckily, I lost my mom when I was 40. I was already married with kids, 4 kids, and then my mom gone. It was gone. There's nothing you can do. You see, God in His wisdom give each and every one of us a certain time to be on this earth. Some of us are lucky, some of us not so lucky. 48 years old. My grandfather Pietro was a principal of a school. He died of tetanus he got punctured with a rusty hanger, the metal hangers, the old style. Contracted tetanus, boom, dead. My father was 17. So it's been a while where in my family, in my bloodline, the fathers or grandfather don't get to see, and my dad enrolled in the Royal Guards because he was the oldest of 5 children, and he raised everybody on one very modest income. In those days, you didn't have all these 401k or whatever. No, when the head of the family died, it was tragedy, even financial. So to be alive, 70 years old, to have a son named after my father, as our tradition is. Giambattista is named after my father, Giambattista. I'm named after my grandfather, Pietro. And now, by the grace of the Almighty God, we just celebrated last Friday, Pietro is 7 years old. So I am completely blessed to be alive, to be well, to have seen my children, get married, and I have 7 grandkids and 1 on the way. I'm not complaining, but I wanted to bring you back to the importance. Everybody sends a card, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, but listen, a card is easy. Do a little bit more than that. Call up. So what you didn't talk for a year or 2 or 5? Hey, Dad or Mom, just want to say hello. That's all. You don't have to be very expensive or, just the words. Trust me, when they're gone, they're gone. And there's a part of you, whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not, sometimes there's trouble, personality differences, but I would say try your best, even if it costs you a little bit of getting humbled. Dad, I was just thinking, hey, this guy Rocky's on Channel 14 or whatever, on YouTube, and he was talking about it, and here I am calling you up. Do it. Do it. Trust me. You'll feel better afterwards. You don't have to go into detail. You don't have to make up. Listen, I just thought today is St. Joseph, or you make up a reason. I just wanted out of the blue. It's the most expensive gift. It doesn't cost you anything that you can give to your mom or dad, and believe me, or your grandparents for that matter, before they're gone. So I wanted to share with you again, why am I here? What's the force behind the desire to communicate? I want to share with you that that young journalist, 23-year-old Nick Shirley, impacted me a lot when we learned only a few months ago that a 23-year-old kid went to Minnesota and recorded with the iPhone or a cheap camera that all those infrastructure that were collecting millions, and there was nobody there. And his recordings, his posting on YouTube got 120 million views. I thought to myself, this must be done. This is a new way for we the people to communicate with the rest of us. Think about it. It's an amazing opportunity to share what's in our heart. And again, you may disagree. It's okay. Listen, you don't have to agree, but I have the freedom and the courage to share with you what's on my heart. Take it or leave it. It's okay. I expect a lot of people not to agree. So, is that going to make me change my thinking? Of course not. Of course not. And again, I'll state it just in case it's not clear. I'm a born-again Christian. I believe in the Constitution and the Republic, for which is why I came from another country, another culture, another language 40 plus years ago. I came here because of that desire. And I said it in some speeches in the past. Nobody runs to North Korea. Nobody breaks the borders of Cuba to get there. Nobody gives a darn of Venezuela. We all want to come here. But please understand, freedom is not free. Freedom has been fought, has been earned, has been conquered by the founding fathers that believed wholeheartedly in a supernatural entity, the God of Israel, that sits on the throne of heaven from the beginning of time. How he did it, I don't know. I'm an engineer by trade. I sailed on ships in the engine room. You know, there's thousands of pipes, hundreds of valves, machines, machinery, auxiliary. That I know. How did God put in motion the universe? How does the earth rotate at a speed, at an angle that keeps miles and miles of deep waters from just flowing out of control? I don't know. He did it. We are the beneficiaries of God's creation. I don't make light of it because every morning, life is new. Every morning we wake up, praise God, another day that we can do something good. Why is that important? Because God didn't create me or you just to enjoy ourselves and, trample over others. No, He's not happy. Do your best. Hey, we all make mistakes. Agreed. But what's in our hearts? That's why I ran for office in 2022. I was asked, would you consider running? I ran. The hardest experience because you find yourself pulled, pushed, tucked away every which way. You shouldn't say this, you shouldn't go there. People notice you talk to that person, to this person. It's a nightmare. But we should still be free to express our malcontent, our agreements, our disagreements. Otherwise, what's the point? If we don't have that freedom, again, it's been several years now that I've been attending or tried to attend every city council meeting. In the past, before 2022, I was busy trying to pay the mortgage. Never got involved, never, I took pictures of the elected officials, delivered the work, got paid, that was it. And then I start seeing, and the more you see, the more you realize, this is crazy. They are like little tyrants walking around like they've been empowered. We are voting people into office, and the very same people that begged for our vote then become tyrants. They treat you like you're nothing. How is that acceptable to we the people? How? Tell me, how? How is that acceptable behavior from people that only a few months before the election were knocking on your doors, please, please vote for me. And by the way, it's not just here. It's not just Republicans or Democrats. It's in other nations too. That's a human trait. Once they got power, forget about it. You become expendable. They got no time. They're busy. And let's not get into spending money. I said it just Monday, this past Monday. It's in front of City Council at the podium. Whatever happened with no taxation without representation? It's only been 250 years old. And we're back to square one. They're spending millions, indeed trillions of our dollars. Not their dollars, our dollars. Without the consent of the governed. They know it. They know it. We don't consent. They don't care. They don't have to meet the budget. They don't have to have by laws. They have the laws. They don't abide by them. How is a elected official not obey the law? How? I don't get it. How is the FBI or any other entity for that matter not obey the laws? Is it acceptable? No. They count on the fact that we the people are so on, each one is on their own. And that's why Nick Shirley, the young kid, 23-year-old, 120 million views. People were astounded by the corruption. You don't think the governor of Minnesota knew, or the district attorney, or they all knew it. They all feed off of it. The corruption is never just one person. It's a whole slew of people that are okay with it. Because even if they didn't get a check or cash, through back channel, they retain power. So, if all these people get to squander billions of dollars and then they vote for you, at least you retain power. You keep on going. Not good. Folks, it is time, I think, that through especially the internet, through the means that we have available, through City Hall, they record the meetings, it's posted. We should have an outlet. What else are we going to do? How else are we going to impress upon the leadership unless we tell them, you're a tyrant? Hey, it's not a cuss word, even though freedom of speech would even allow you to say that. It's not. You're a tyrant. You're a bully. Stand here. Don't go there. Don't look around. You can't turn around. Don't you see? You can't. You can't. You're a free person, but shut up and pay the taxes. Is that your understanding of our republic? Are you serious? You see, elected official, whether they agree or not, they're servants. Remember, I think they took them out, but the decal on the police cars to protect and serve? Yeah. They got to serve we the people. They're administrators. We elect them so that they can represent our desire, our needs, our wants, and implement it through laws, through legal means. They corrupt the whole idea. They go into power, they do whatever the heck they want. Often they break laws. It's okay. What are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Really? Why is it so hard to vote somebody out of power? They're 80, some of them are 85 years old and they still in position of power. Why? Because they're greedy. They're wicked. They're corrupt. And it shouldn't be. We should be clear. You do what's good for we the people. We'll make it known. That's why they should have referendum. Let's talk about Norwich real quick. They bought the city council, big shots, elected, obviously. They bought a bank building, hopefully to establish and convert it into a police station. They bought it for $800,000. Why? Why they made a deal for $800,000? Because $800,001, that deal would have had to go through to referendum. In other words, if they made a deal for $800,001, they would have had to tell the bank official, sorry, we got to wait and go to the polls. We have to have a referendum to authorize us. But by doing $800,000 or less, the council can vote it just on their own. So they did. Guess what? It's going to be 2 years soon. The building is empty. They've been paying for the heat and the roof and it's leaking or whatever. They purchase on their own. Now they have to go to the people for maybe 65, 69, I don't know, $1 million to convert it into police station. Guess what? Most likely people will say no. So you see, it goes on and on and on. Trillions of dollars without the clear consent of the governed. It's not acceptable. These people, they might have had good intention in the beginning, but they're not delivering what they promised under oath to do on our behalf. They're not. And they go from deficit to deficit. Oh, wait, Foxwood, now the first casino is going to give us so much money, yes. And then they got Keno, and then they got Lotto, and then they got the second casino. The more they get revenues, somehow, can you believe it? The more, and they squander it. When will they, in their wisdom, if they had any, but they don't, when they say, you know what, it's enough. The people can't handle it anymore. When? At one point. They'll keep on abusing the privilege of being in charge. So, in all honesty, Real Rocky Podcast wants to bring to your attention a point of view of a man that was born and raised in another country, in another era. Please let me share with you. I was born in 1955. The first grade, I went to the nuns' school in Bagnoli, which is a section of Naples. Suore Corsare, that was the name of their order, nuns. My sister's 2 years older than I went first grade. Did you know what I did in first grade? Very first day. Each one had a desk. The nuns were our teachers. We had an inkwell. In first grade, when I was 6 years old, we had a dip. I don't even know if you know any of it. Many of you that are going to watch the show have no idea what I'm talking about. We didn't have the pens like today with ink. We didn't. They were new. Italy was always been behind 10, 15 years behind the United States, but we still had inkwell that we had to dip the little metal, whatever you call it, pin, I don't know how you call it, and with ink, little by little, and if you messed up, if there was a blob of ink, you'd have to rip the page. That's how old I am. And so my experiences, my culture, my way of life growing up formed me into, by the way, went to college to become a merchant marine officer, but as soon as graduated in 1976, this will be, I joined the Navy because I was drafted in the Navy. This will be the 50th year, come September, that I wore the Italian Navy uniform. Mandatory. At the time, they let you finish, at the time, it was mandatory 18. If you're in college, they let you finish school, university, whatever, and then you had to serve. So in 1976, June, end of June, I graduated. I got before I could go on ships and sail as an engineering officer, I had to serve in the military. I did. Went to boot camp in Taranto, went to special training in La Maddalena, Sardinia, because, by the way, in Italy, the Coast Guard is part of the Navy. It's a branch. It's not a different uniform. It's everything the same. So they sent me to La Maddalena to be trained to become a pilot of a rescue boat for aeronautical disasters. So I've been, after the training, I was in Cagliari, in charge of a Boston whaler with auto-inflatable rafts. God forbid an airplane couldn't make the runway, couldn't take off. Like, remember Captain Sully in New York? Both engines stalled because of geese in the engines, and he landed by miracle. Such a miracle, such a talented human being, pilot, Captain Sully. He landed the airplane in the river. And of course, Coast Guard, a whole bunch of boats went off and there was not one fatality. It's just a miracle. But anyways, I was trained and I spent some time in Cagliari in charge of one of the two Boston whalers. And then I was transferred to Naples. So what I'm suggesting is, and then I went sailing on merchant ships, one here, one there, and the next thing you know, I'm in Norwich, Connecticut. Folks, it would take several Real Rocky podcast episodes to tell you the stories. I got stories. But the bottom line is this. We are the owners of this country, this land. Norwich is not owned by the few big shots that sit in power, in prestigious positions. They're not. They're supposed to be doing what we want, and they're not doing it. They're not. They promise, they promise easy stuff. Oh, vote for me. Make Norwich more affordable. This, that. How many times have you heard this? How many? Look at the congressmen or congresswomen or the senators. Time and time, both sides, by the way. Please understand. I'm equal opportunity complainer. If you don't do what's best for we the people, as far as I'm concerned, you're no good. I don't care who you are, what your age, what party you are, you're no good. The people should rally and replace you. If we did that consistently, believe me, whoever gets elected would not be so in your face about it. They would say, you know what? I may get away for 2 years or 4 years, depending, or 6 years if you're a U.S. senator, but then they'll do away. My career is finished. But because they can get away with it, because they are counting on us not being unified, not being held together, not being led with honor, with integrity. How is it these people get elected to become millionaires? How is it? How's it possible? They make 175, 200 grand a year, maybe. Within a few years, multimillionaire. So please enjoy the future episodes little by little. Nothing has been done overnight. The old saying goes, Rome was not made in one day, if you remember. By the way, when you're born and raised Italian, you see, where I grew up, Neapolis was a Greek colony before there was a Rome in Rome. So when you grew up in such an old land, it would be the same with Greece or other countries, and you have statues and you have buildings and you have arches and you have roads. Did you know that there's a road, the Via Appia, from Naples to Rome? The cobblestone are still the ones the Romans laid. Can you even grasp that? If anyone of you watching me ever been to Pompeii, you know what I'm talking about. So we have a clear understanding that we're but a little speck of sand that will come alive, live, prosper, and then go away. But those cobblestones still there, those arches, those infrastructure, those cultural, whether they be like the Ides of March, from my Rocky radio show, I said it on the radio. The Ides of March, beware of the Ides of March. Julius Caesar was assassinated over 2,000 years ago. We study it. It's true. It's history. We still have it in our spirits. So humanity goes on. But please understand, while we're here, let's do something for the good of others. Let's be honorable. Don't be greedy. You're greedy. You're a crook. You're a liar. You circumvent the law so you can get rich. Do you not know who's in charge of this whole thing? Do you not know? You think you're going to get away with it? Really? Think again. And to the elected official in Norwich. Norwich used to be, I've been told, obviously I wasn't here, but I've been told it used to be one of the wealthiest city in the United States. What happened? What happened in the last 30, 40, 50 years? There's a little coffee shop opens up, they think it's a revolution. It's like, oh, this is prosperity for everybody. And then next thing you know, more taxes, more taxes. When will they stop overtaxing we, the taxpayer, we, the residents? When? At what point will they say, you know what? We can't spend anymore. You know what? It'd be nice to have $69 million for a new police station, but the people just can't afford it. Suppose we can't afford it. What are we supposed to do? What? We told you. This debacle with the firemen, eventually we'll ask one of the chiefs if they want to come in and chit-chat with us and give us their perspective. They already wasted $100,000. For what? To achieve what? Because we said, yes, it's okay? No. Go ahead, spend. Another month will go by, it's going to be $200,000 wasted. And then the third month, $300,000 wasted. Next thing you know, it'll be $500,000 wasted and nothing is accomplished. Did we agree to that? No. They want to do what they want to do. Well, keep it up. Real Rocky Podcast. Eventually, again, it's not going to happen overnight, but we'll have a call-in number that you can call in. There is such a thing as a Real Rocky Podcast at gmail.com. It's not. It's done. I purchased the domain name. We're going to have a website. Please understand. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, but keep the faith. Keep thinking and knowing that we can't give in or give up, because your children, my children, your grandchildren, our grandchildren depend on we, the people, to do something about it. You can't just, it'd be easy, just watch TV, relax, have popcorn and a soda, enjoy life. If they were doing half a decent job, the elected official, if they were doing half a decent, reasonable job, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be recording anything. They're doing a good job. Taxes are going down. No wars. Remember no wars? Yeah. There you go. Even the best, once they get in power, it seems to me, and look throughout history, not just this century, last century, the century before, indeed millions, thousands and thousands of years ago, power gets to the human's mind and they become a total different person. Well, we'll stand together for something, for the good of others. And I hope you'll enjoy what's coming next and next and next episodes. Please stay in touch. We'll make you aware of all the new things that we will have going, and look forward to seeing you and meet and greet somewhere. But please understand, God is in control. It's not Rocky. It's not the mayor. It's not the big shot senator. God is in control. Are we courageous enough to stand for what is righteous, for what is honorable? Or are we going to lie and cheat and make believe like we didn't know? We didn't know it's going to cost us more money. Yes, they did. They don't care. So we're going to take a short pause. We're going to bring in a guest just for a little bit. And God willing, always, God is in control, believe me. I believe with all my heart. So it's always His will. We're just trying to do our best to inform you, to bring forth some information that you might not know. That's why eventually I should like to have the Yantic fire chiefs or anybody that is very knowledgeable of the controversy, because this has to be addressed. they're doing us harm. God forbid something dangerous and something final happens and somebody loses their life or their pet's life because of this incompetency. God forbid. Please understand. It's not just going to be money. It could be lives. We'll fix this. Stay tuned. Real Rocky Podcast will be right back. And welcome back. This is Rocky, second episode of the Real Rocky Podcast. We have in studio our guest, Marsha Wilburn. And hello, Marsha.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for coming. And as I mentioned, this is only the second episode. I want to bring people to join me in this podcast so that we can share with others concerns, ideas, experiences. We only known each other a little bit because you were running for mayor this past November.
Right.
And I run into you from time to time at city council meetings. So I'm glad to have you on board and share with the audience what are your concerns, what you've been up to. I know you're self-employed or small business.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Of course, thank you.
Right now I have a client, Honeywell Fire and Safety. So I'm learning more about regulatory type issues with fire and NFPA and all of that. In the past, I'm a techie.
That's your field.
Yeah, that's my field.
I'm not a techie. I'm a photographer, but now the world, I'm from the days of film. I'm from the days of the Flash had a power pack. I mean, now it's all digital, it's all computers.
Well, I worked in printing and publishing for many, many years.
Wow.
And I had gone into the dark room with dangerous chemicals.
Yes.
And that was not my thing. So I do better with digital.
Technology.
Yes.
Worst come to worst, nothing can blow up. You push the wrong button.
Hopefully, usually, that's not going to happen.
But so you've been involved now for maybe a year in Norwich politics.
Right.
I've been complaining since I was asked to be involved in 2022, and ever since I've been complaining because I really see the unacceptable behavior of people that say they want to represent us.
Right. So
they get elected. It's like they change. They completely turn into a different person.
Right. And
whatever happened to our needs?
Right. And so I will say that I started off doing independent journalism when I came home.
Oh.
Back in 2022.
Okay.
And I had started off with just simple things. Someone's dog got taken away. It didn't seem right the way it happened.
I see. And
so it's
you would,
just
you
really
would
small.
I see. And you would write about it, or like a blog
just
or something?
Simple. Like I have a Norwich Town News, a forum I started on Facebook.
I see.
Things like that, just to kind of get some questions answered. Though at first it was, what's going on here? Right. Now I realize when something doesn't make sense, that's when I have to go down another rabbit hole, another one.
And your techie background lets you get into even deeper and deeper.
Right, and I have friends who do like massive research, and they give me like, hey, go to this, go to that, right? And then I knew a lot. I was watching council meetings before I even went. I saw you, Addis Brothers, Joanne. And
did you realize, folks, if you can make a note of it, you can look it up on YouTube. August 19, 2024, they wanted me to be arrested.
Yes.
Because I was not complying.
Right. And that's another thing. I had been for many decades a free speech advocate.
Of course.
And so when I saw their rules of procedure were unconstitutional, and then the actions they were taking, I thought, oh no,
This is not gonna.
these people are not being represented. Nobody's asking the right question. Why are citizens upset at the
Yes.
council meeting?
Why?
It's
They
not
don't care.
it's not the fact that they're,
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, you're a tyrant or a bully." Maybe they are. But why would multiple people consistently, you got to ask the question,
Why?
what's going on?
But why aren't they asking that question? Because they don't care.
They're already
not
in
their-
the seat, right? They're already, they're not, the way I look at it, Rocky, honestly, my opinion,
Of course.
and I'm free to say it,
Of course.
they don't represent, they govern. And that's pretty much.
It's almost like disrespecting the very people that you sought to represent.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
really my point about even what happens in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly spending trillions and trillions and trillions. Who's going to pay for it? Oh, don't worry.
That's it.
We are.
Yeah. And I like the fact that at a few times you were like, is this going to cost me money? Is this going to come out of my pocket? And then on Monday, I really liked when you said, it's okay if you have it in your bank account. Go ahead, write a check
Believe
for
me,
that.
I wouldn't be complaining.
Right.
If the debacle that's going on with the Yanta Fire Department and all that, if somebody in the council paid them the amount to offset the cost, I wouldn't be saying a word.
Right. But it's costing us a
No,
lot.
they're doing their misdeeds are going to cost us, the taxpayer. It's not acceptable.
It's not. And then the other part of that is the misrepresentation that's going on to the public, right? Several months ago in council, Pro Tem had stated that this wasn't going to cost money, that was fear-mongering. And now we're seeing it could cost us up to, if this continues, $100,000 a month or more.
Or more.
Right? And so,
God forbid, and I said it before you came on, God forbid there's a tragedy.
oh, but there has been, right? I mean,
But I
it
mean,
is in itself a
Right.
tragedy.
Well, it's a tragedy, but I'm talking about loss
Right.
of life or an animal or property that goes, I mean,
Right.
it is unbelievable what they're, and I said it a few days ago, Monday night. I said, seems to me like you don't know how to play chess.
Right.
Because
That you're playing
yeah,
checkers.
because if you're a good chess player, it's not just one
That's
move at a
right.
time. You gotta envision how many more moves you can move. The opponent makes this, you go there. What is their vision?
Right.
Every month that goes by is going to cost us more money. Eventually, the people, once the new budget gets put forth, they're going to say, "What are you, crazy?" See, right now, most of the people are not aware. It's going to cost us money.
It's going to cost us money. And someone made a really good point. We pay a high mill rate here.
Yes.
Why are you paying additional tax for fire? I haven't looked into it yet.
Well, the district downtown is covered by paid firefighters.
Right, right.
Whereas the surrounding areas of the city of Norwich are covered by Yantic, Ockham.
Right.
And eventually we'll have one of the chiefs or maybe two chiefs here, but from what my understanding is, if there's a car accident and the paid firefighters goes to the call, it'll cost us, the taxpayer, about $5,000.
That is what I also
Right?
understand.
Because they're paid firefighters, because the insurance, the 401k, whatever. If something happens in Norwich Town in the Yantic fire, which they've been, believe me, for a short season, I was a Yantic Fire Department member as well. It costs the taxpayer about $200.
Right. There's a big difference.
It's crazy difference.
Like,
As a matter of fact, I would say, you know what? We should reduce the numbers of the paid firefighters.
that's right.
And increase the coverage of the volunteers if we could get enough coverage, if we could get enough volunteers.
But it seems to me that Yantek had, 50-something volunteers? That's a
Yantic has
lot.
been operational
That's a
since
lot.
1854, something like that.
47.
1847. Thank you. So it's 150 some years.
Yeah.
What's the problem? All of a sudden, they shut down. Listen, again, these guys, these elected officials, not guys, because there's some ladies in there too, they're useless. As far as I'm concerned, that's my opinion, right?
Yeah.
We are allowed to share opinions.
That's it. Yeah.
They don't understand that eventually, the more time goes by and the more their inadequacies will come to the surface.
Oh, yeah.
When we have to fit the bill for $500,000, I want to know how happy we are going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call, this is what we should do, call for a reduction in paid firefighters.
Well, that would make sense, because if they're more costly and we have volunteers, I mean, look at the difference between...
Yes, if I remember those graphs that were circulating, the paid firefighter coverage is 13% of the whole area.
Right, that's
and 87% is all given to coverage.
Volunteers, yeah.
So for 13% coverage, it's costing us a ton of money.
Okay, so it's like over 15 million for the paid, according to these...
Per year.
Per year.
Versus
700 something thousand. So why are we closing the volunteer?
Yes. You know what? Maybe we start something today.
Really?
Today
seriously?
is only the 19th of March. Today St. Joseph, by the way.
Right.
San Giuseppe.
I heard you say that.
And so maybe today we come up with an idea. Let's start a petition that we will restrict and reduce the number of paid firefighters.
Right.
We don't want them. They're too expensive.
Right.
Because you see, by the way, you want to be a paid firefighter, you want to join, you have to be a union.
Right.
Union pays the dues. The union decides where those dues, which amount to millions, which campaign they will endorse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And for some unknown reason, usually the unions help out the left, the Democrats.
Oh, right.
So-
Like I
so
saw in the donation documentation
Yes,
that
it mostly goes to
there
the-
was
Democrats.
some.
So it's not gonna be pretty. But listen, maybe we'll start trouble. What's new, right? On the Rocky,
That's
on
it.
a real Rocky podcast. Maybe we'll start considering. Maybe we'll share with the volunteers. Can we sponsor? You heard it here first. Can we sponsor a petition to reduce the force of the paid firefighters?
Right.
We don't want it. We can't afford them.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
And
a lot.
increase
And
the numbers, increase the benefits to the volunteers.
because from what
have
I
to
read,
Yeah.
that's not just money from the CCD that's
Yeah.
going
course.
to the city, but also part of the general fund. How much of the general fund? I don't know, because I'm not,
Folks, we're not going to resolve this issue this episode, but I am very grateful for Marsha Wilburn to be on, even if it's just an introductory situation. But I can't wait to see what you come up next and what you're going to propose next, what you're going to look into next. Maybe you'll come back and keep us posted.
Oh, yeah. And then I also will be doing Inside Norwich.
Oh, Inside Norwich. She's going to do her own podcast.
Yep,
Or
weekly,
channel.
yeah.
Weekly. So we'll keep Comcast in Norristown very busy.
Okay.
I want to wish you a serene and safe and fun weekend. Happy St. Joseph Day. And may God bless America.